Hello, I am just going to film this video for, there's a handful of folks that were not able to attend the seminar today. We just finished up a little while ago and it went really good. So you guys are getting take two on this one, but just wanted to start off and say welcome. Again, my name is Stacy Hitt. I am a nutrition coach with Repair, Perform, and Recover. And I am just excited to join you guys for the next 6 weeks. And thanks so much for investing the time and effort to take care of yourself and for trusting me. So I'm excited to get to know you guys all better throughout the course of the next couple weeks. All right, so I did do a separate video on the InBody scan itself and the interpretation of it. So if you were not able to stick around for me to go over all of your numbers with you, I would refer you back to that video. It's about 10 minutes in length, but I do start at the top and work my way all the way to the bottom and explain what all these numbers mean. And I did go over them at the seminar as well. All right, so we'll skip ahead to that one. Again, the InBody scan is a separate video, which I will share with the group. So refer back to that if you want to go over your InBody scan. All right, so I just wanted to start off with a little bit of inspiration for everyone. This is our winner from CrossFit Identity from last year. Her name is Virginia. She is the blonde in the middle. That is me on the right. And then Kelsey Paramore with the glasses on, that is our head nutrition coach at RPR. So anyhow, Virginia did great. And just to give you a little background and context on her as far as, how it was that she was able to win. She is a regular old run-of-the-mill CrossFitter. She has been for a long, long time. I've worked out with her for years. She's actually one of my good friends. But I say that so that she did not do anything extraordinary. She was not new to CrossFit. She stuck with her same consistent workout routine. She is a busy mom of 3. Her youngest was a toddler when we did this. But she managed to lose a little more than a pound of body fat a week, which is pretty awesome. We had some other people pull some really big numbers too. We had, I think, one male participant lose somewhere between 10 and 12 pounds of body fat, but his percentage actually was less than hers. She's just on the leaner side. So as far as numbers go and as far as engagement throughout the course of the 6 weeks and being super consistent, she checked all those boxes. That was pretty cool. And then the other fact I like to kind of bring up for people so that they know, and I tell this with my one-on-one clients before we go changing a whole bunch of things at once and removing certain food groups or cutting out alcohol or any of those kinds of things, cleaning up your nutrition and being consistent over a period of time goes a long, long way. So when I did weigh Virginia back in and she did her 6-week InBody scan, and I saw how great her results were, I did clarify with her. I made sure I said, hey, you didn't quit drinking or do anything like that during the 6 weeks. And she just laughed and giggled. She said, I think you know me better than that. She said, no, I kept everything exactly the same. I just worked on the habits and the nutrition piece. So it can be done. Clean up your nutrition and let's see how it plays out. But the vast majority of the time, it works beautifully. Also, just to tell you guys a little bit more about my background and how I ended up as a nutrition coach in my previous life, I like to call it. I actually was a critical care nurse. I worked initially in the ER at Grady and then eventually made my way into cardiology and then specialized even further and worked in the department called the cardiac cath lab, which is the kind of specialty surgery area where we get to take care of patients actively having heart attacks. So we would put balloons and stents and pacemakers and hearts and heart arteries and get to do all kinds of fun stuff there. So that's my professional background and where my medical knowledge comes in. I am, love now as a nutrition coach. I have also been on the client side as a nutrition, with nutrition. I worked with a one-on-one coach for the first time back in 2014. So I've been in this area for a long time and tried lots of different things and worked with several different professionals. And I have, been fortunate enough to be given the opportunity to come on as a nutrition coach. And I've been working at RPR and out of CrossFit Identity for about 2 years as a nutrition coach. Other fun facts, I have 3 kids and they are ages 14, 15, and my baby just turned 21 yesterday. So I have 3 kids, 2 of which are teenagers and 1 is now young adulting. So also interesting facts about me. I am one of the founding members of CrossFit Identity. So I have been in the space for a really long time. And other things clients find very interesting about me is that I was actually a super picky eater throughout childhood and into young adulthood, to the point that my dad thinks it's hilarious that this is what I do for my job. So all that to be said, it doesn't come naturally to me. I've had to work at it, and I can help you figure that out. So don't ever give up. And then also, last little fun fact about me is that I am actually married to my high school sweetheart. So there's that. All right. Moving on, just to tell you a little bit of background about Healthy Steps Nutrition and Repair, Perform, and Recover. They are very both, in the CrossFit space. On this particular slide, this is some social media from the CrossFit Games from this last summer. And you see the gal in the white tank top with holding up the microphone. That's actually Nicole Coyne. She is actually the owner and creator of Healthy Steps Nutrition. She was speaking this summer on a panel at the Games. Her mission is to help CrossFit affiliates across the world bridge what she calls the gap between healthcare and fitness. So she is a registered dietitian, and she has written the Healthy Steps Nutrition program. She programmed the 6 weeks that you guys are going to be doing in your challenge. They have run it in hundreds of gyms. They've run it in corporate challenges, and it works beautifully. So we just love the fact that Healthy Steps really looks at habits and human behavior versus just calories and macros. So we felt like that was really the missing piece. And so does Nicole, because it's what really gets people results and allows them to maintain those results, is to make lasting change that they can do day in and day out, no matter what's happening in their life. And then other thing that was really cool this summer, there's another slide here. Let me grab my little pen just so you know which one I'm referring to. I'll take my little pen over here, but this slide is actually Lauren, who's in the green tank top, and then Kelsey, who is in the white tank top. Kelsey's the head nutrition coach with RPR, and Lauren is the owner of RPR. So this is them at the Games this year, and they're pointing at this girl and this girl right here. These are client transformations that were featured at the Games this year, and they were actually both my clients. So super exciting. We were very pleased. Super cool honor, but just wanted to share that with you guys. All right. Oh, my slide is not advancing for some reason. Hang tight. Okay, it looks like we're back in action. Sorry about that. For some reason, my slides were not advancing, but I think we're in good shape now. Okay, so as far as nutrition goes, I just like to make it very clear to all of my clients, or when I do a group challenge, nutrition isn't just one piece of the puzzle. We really focus with our clients on all of the aspects of their life. Not just exercise, not just nutrition, but we work on stress management, we work on sleep, we work on lifestyle, and support systems. So it's about a lot more than what you're eating. But I will give you an example. I think sleep is one of my favorite ones. So recommendation for sleep is actually between 7 to 9 hours per night. That's really what we need to actually really thrive, particularly if we want to lose body fat. It's actually a pretty complicated process for our body to do. And in order to kind of keep that stress response low, or those cortisol levels low, we need to make sure we're getting really good quality sleep. So recommendation for sleep is between 7 and 9 hours a night. And interesting thing that happens in our bodies when we sleep at night, there are certain hormones that are only released and regulated when we get into that good, deep REM sleep. And two of those hormones actually control your hunger and fullness. So when we don't get enough sleep, those hormones get dysregulated. And I don't know if you've ever noticed, at least I do, and I've talked with other people who say the same thing, that when they don't get adequate sleep, the types of foods that they tend to crave are those like comfort foods, or those really carby, fatty foods. And I kind of call that like the sleep hangover, basically, when you tend to lean into those kind of foods. And the reason that happens is because those hormones have gotten really dysregulated from not getting that good quality sleep. So it's a real thing and it matters. So we do focus on all different aspects of lifestyle, health, and wellness to help our clients reach their goals. All right. Here we go. Where am I? Okay. So next you want to grab your book, get your book. It should be in your goodie bag that you got. Grab a pen, and you will eventually need your phone. If it's not close by, like feel free to leave me on and go grab it. But we're going to go through the book. So in the beginning of the book, we've got goal setting, which is that first page. And I asked everybody in the seminar to make a short-term goal, something that you would like to accomplish during these 6 weeks, and then give me a long-term goal, something that's more like 6 months from now. So these can be weight related, these can be body composition related, these can be habit related. I strongly encourage the habit ones as well, because they will help you get to your goal. The biggest thing we want our clients to do when we make goals is we want them to be SMART goals, is what we call them. So they need to be specific, they need to be measurable, they need to be attainable, they need to be realistic, and they need to be time sensitive. So an example of a short-term goal could look like I want to lose 0.5 pound of body fat per week by the end of the challenge. That is a measurable goal because we're going to put you on the InBody. It's attainable, it's realistic, and you've set a time parameter around it. So that would be kind of a weight-based short-term goal. A goal that would say not be a SMART goal is when people say, I'm going to eat clean for the next 6 weeks. That's actually not going to cut it. Okay. Or my favorite is I'm going to cut back on my alcohol. But not putting any real parameters on it or, specific numbers on it is really kind of loosey-goosey. So we need to really tighten those down, but I'd like for everybody to do a short-term and a long-term goal and just keep them very reasonable and realistic. Right. Next, we're going to flip over the page in your book and we're going to go to the macros section. We're going to talk a little bit about protein. There's a reason it's first. It's the most important. And I tell clients it is the one non-negotiable as far as what needs to be the makeup, as far as what your meals and snacks also need to look like. There needs to be a source of protein with all of your meals and snacks. Proteins provide us with all those really important amino acids that help us build muscle, and they also help the recovery phase. Also, the thing with protein is it just helps us stay fuller, longer, and more satisfied versus, just carbs or just fat. Those foods really tend to kind of put you on a bit of this roller coaster and tends to lead people more towards snacking. So foods that are great protein sources, we want them to be lean proteins. We want them to be lower in fat, like your chicken breast, your turkey, your egg whites, your fish. Those are all great options. And you just really want to steer clear of the higher fat protein sources, like your, ribeye type steaks, the real marbly steaks, chicken wings, ground pork, those kinds of things. Those are just what I tell people. I'm like, that's a sometimes food. That's not something we want to really consider a source of lean protein because it's just too high in fat. All right, next we're going to move to carbs. And this one kind of gets a bad rap, unfortunately. Yes, things like candy and sugar, and pastas and those kinds of things do fall into the carb category. But what a lot of people neglect to kind of acknowledge, I feel like nowadays with the kind of the low carb trend, is there's a lot of really good vegetables and whole grains that fall into the carb category, and our bodies need those. All of your sweet potatoes and regular potatoes and butternut squash, and all of your vegetables are sources of carbs as well, and they're just really, really good for our body. But we need those carbs. We need them to fuel our brain, and for our muscles. You want about 30 to 40% of your daily calories to come from carbs. But everybody's requirement is different depending on their activity level and what their goals are. And carbs make up, they provide us with 4 calories per gram as far as their density when it comes to our macronutrients. All right. Next, we have our healthy fats. So fats make up are 9 calories per gram. So proteins and carbs are 4 calories per gram. Fats are 9 calories per gram. And the reason I bring that up, because it's actually the healthy fats that people are consuming through nuts and nut butters and oils and salad dressings and things like that, is actually where I find clients tend to get themselves in a little bit of trouble. I tend to see people not consuming enough protein and over-consuming fats in various forms. It just kind of depends. But since it's the most calorically dense macronutrient, it's very easy to overconsume. So, I always tell people, basically think like we tell our kids, ... not a lot. You don't really need as much as you think you do. So, consider that, olive oil that you're, pouring on your, sheet of veggies, or when you're sauteing some veggies and things like that, to just maybe get a little more light-handed with that, to really cut back on the calorie content there. And that can be super helpful for a lot of people. All right, moving along. All right, next we are going to move on to the, first in your book, you have the food options guide. So make sure you check through there and look over the food options guide. It's one of our most popular resources, and clients really, really find that one super helpful. The one that you're going to focus on the most is this volume non-starchy carbs section right here. Okay. These are all those yummy vegetables, like, your bell peppers, your broccoli, your cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, squashes, tomatoes, cucumbers, just all those veggies that you can really eat a lot of that don't have a lot of calories in them. So that's actually what your habit is going to be starting this week, is to, via the plate method, as you can see here, we've got this half plate here. Those are your non-starchy vegetables. And one of the questions that was asked was, what size is your plate? So we want to use a standard 9-inch plate is what we're looking at. But so half plate non-starchy vegetables. And the trick with the plate method is that you eat those vegetables first. That's something that really is new for a lot of people. But we want to get in all those good micronutrients and fiber. And, those vegetables are a great way to do it. So the other quarter of the plate is your lean protein, which you can see over here. And then the other quarter of the plate is your starchy carbs. So like your squash or your potatoes, beans, things like that. Rice falls into that category. And then there are some healthy fats. But what I tell my clients is that really, for the most part, the fats kind of come along for the ride. You're probably going to saute your vegetables in some oil of some sort. There may be some sort of marinade on your protein. And then, you may want to put something like maybe some butter or something on a sweet potato. But, for the most part, fat generally comes along for the ride. You typically don't need to add a whole lot of extra. All right. And then we have, just the conversation around, and just to remind people, again, it's always, always important that we have a balance. We have representation of both proteins, carbs, and fats with our meals and our snacks. One of the tips that I, just mentioned at the seminar today is to really start your day with a, really, protein packed breakfast. That's where I see my clients really, do well with their progress. Proteins are one of those things that are typically stored in the fridge for the most part. So you want to load up on those when you're in your kitchen, and that's typically in the morning at breakfast. We tend to do pretty good finding them, with lunch and dinner. But breakfast is a really great way to really, boost up that protein content and really pack it in at breakfast. All right, that's kind of it for the nutrition education piece. What I do want to talk about is challenge engagement and how this will work. Just kind of going through the app again to remind everybody what that's going to look like. But we want everybody checking off those weekly habits that you're working on. We want you to watch your videos and mark complete, and I'll kind of get into that so you guys can see that. We want you to share your food photos in the app. So this week, I want everybody to take a picture of either their lunch or their dinner so that we can see what those half plate of non-starchy vegetables look like. And you will share that picture with the group so everybody can see what you're doing and that you're participating. And then we also want you to interact with the group, cheer each other on, ask questions if those are questions you would like shared with the group. But for now, go ahead and grab your phone, and I will use, hopefully, my pointer. There we go. Sorry. Go ahead and grab your phone and pull up the HSN app, and I will just kind of go through again. As a reminder, if either from your dashboard, you can be in this setting here, the blue circle that I've got right here is where your videos will be. And you will have new videos to watch every Sunday. They are videos from Nicole and Ashley, who are the registered dietitians that wrote the program. They're about 1 to 2 minutes each. And the most important video from this week is the plate method video. But I just always tell people, like, we as humans need to hear things multiple times. We need to read it. We need to hear it. We need to see it. Sometimes we need to hear it again for it to kind of stick. So watch your videos. They just take a couple of minutes. And when you do watch them, there is a little place up in the upper right corner above the videos. Just hit mark as complete. That way I know that you watched them. All right. And then here we are. Okay, let's talk about habit tracking. So again, on your phone, when you go to your either the rocket ship or the calendar, it's either one of those viewing options. I'll just do it in the dashboard. You have the habit program that is half plate, non-starchy veggies, just like it's showing here. And then you have the option the day that you did it to mark complete. So I just ask that you do that. And then also, I know the screen looks a little different, but you should have on your version, there should be 4 dots up here. And if you're to click on those 4 dots, it will actually show your compliance rate and how many days in a row you've completed that habit. So that's what I see on my side to know if you are tracking your habits. So just make sure you mark complete. And then also in this version, if you scroll over, you can see there's another dot right here. If you scroll over and you'd like some more educational information and kind of the whys and the tips and another recipe video, scroll over to that, and then you can get some more information that way as far as the habit goes. So just the biggest thing with these, once you do it, mark complete. That way I know you did it. All right. And next. All right. These are the videos that I mentioned earlier. Again, just make sure that you watch your videos. There will be new videos every Sunday for the next 6 weeks. And then this is your dashboard. And then you have, I know this group is named differently, but there is from the rocket ship view, you have the CrossFit perimeter group that's there. And if you click on that group, you can either type a message or you can take a picture with the little camera icon. So just be sure and give the app access to your camera, because in that group is where you're going to take pictures of your half plate of non-starchy vegetables for this week, and you're going to post it to the group every day. Also, other things as far as the group goes, you can send a message to everybody by doing @everyone. You can also send a message to just me. That'll be just between the two of us. If you click on the RPR, the little white circle logo with the RPR logo on it, either in the group, it'll be one of the first names that pops up, or you can do it from this screen where their little logo is right here. You can message me that way as well. So that's how you get in touch with me. All right. And all right. So this is just another example of kind of what the habits look like here in the app. And the biggest thing I told them at the seminar was, set yourself up for success. Set aside a certain time of the day. This will literally take you like 2 or 3 minutes. It doesn't take very long, but to mark your habit, do it at the same time every day, either first thing in the morning or in the evening. And then I also recommended that everybody move the app. It's probably on page 3 or 4 of your recently downloaded apps. Move it to the front. Move it to the first page. Move it next to whatever near maybe some other app that you frequently visit, and just kind of layer that in there so that it's close by, and it'll kind of remind you, oh yeah, I need to go in there, okay, by keeping it visually forward as opposed to really buried down in your apps. So move it forward and put it close to something that you go into frequently. All right, we're almost done. In your book also, sorry, I'll turn my screen back on. In your book, you'll flip through. There's also some tips on meal planning and some macro staples to get from the grocery store. That's this page here with the 1, 2, 3. And then some mindfulness and hydration tips. There's also, I included for you guys these sample meal plans. These are just meant for inspiration. You do not need to follow these, as they are written. I just wanted more than anything for you all to be able to see, what a typical breakfast, what a balanced snack could look like, what a balanced lunch could look like. And then again, they've got an afternoon snack if that's something you feel like you need. Most people tend to have the afternoon snack, that stretch between lunch and dinner is kind of long, especially as late as some of us get home and after kids' activities and things like that. That afternoon snack is needed. I think those are really important. They really tend to help people cut down on the grazing, which is a lot of times also where we tend to get a little bit in trouble. So you're going to want to plan your snacks, especially if you're going into an office or something like that, and pack those up as well. But there are some suggestions on here as to what balanced snacks can look like, and then dinners. This first page is a sample of a 1,400 to 1,800 calorie sample meal plan. So that would be for a female. And then page 2 is the 1,800 to 2,200 calorie sample meal plan, and that would be for a male client. And then at the very back, I made sure I told everybody there's some commonly asked questions. You guys can read through those. And then down here at the bottom, if you're looking for some new healthy, balanced recipes, you can go to the healthystepsnutrition.com healthy recipes website. They have a huge database of recipes there. I have cooked many of them. Our head coach, Kelsey, has cooked many of them. There's some of them are a staple in my house. They're very easy. They're with very normal ingredients from Kroger or Publix or Walmart, wherever you get your groceries. They don't have you getting all sorts of weird spices and things like that. They keep the ingredients very, very simple. So I strongly encourage you to try some new recipes. I wouldn't recommend trying any more than one a week. That is actually where I've seen people get a little flustered. So just don't overdo it. It can, lean back into some of your old staples, and maybe just tweak them a little bit with a little bit of a leaner meat maybe. But you're going to be adding in a lot more vegetables. So that's going to be super helpful. And that is about it for me. I'm having to wrap it up because my video is about to cut off, but feel free to reach out with questions. I will be interacting with you guys through the app, and I, of course, will be available for you guys after the challenge is over for those of you who would like to continue your wellness journey. And I can